Who cares what other people think or say?
If anybody has the upper hand of control in that dynamic, I'm going to say it's the spicy Latina.
I would agree with you.
Because she doesn't hold back. She tells you exactly what she's thinking and what she wants. And usually she gets her way.
Oh, yeah. So I wouldn't judge an entire podcast or an entire situation on a few 90-second clips that are made for attention grabbers.
I guess I'm going to have to go listen to that.
Yeah, you'll have to see it on Insta. It's on Instagram.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good, the bad, and Lilly, the oh so shocking.
Ever so.
It's just always a new story, a new week.
Twist.
Every week.
Plot twist.
Now, you've been gone, and you've been dealing with some family issues. You get all those taken care of, or still ongoing?
Oh, heck no.
You had an unexpected funeral.
It's been a shit show.
Yeah, and you're having to take care of a lot of people. You have to be the motherly figure.
Yep. Good thing I'm good at that.
It's getting a little old, though, right?
Good thing I'm good at bossing people around.
Yeah.
The problem is, when you're bossing around grown-ass adults, they don't always listen.
Right? They talk back to you, don't they?
Not even that. They just do the opposite of what I recommend.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, you have a great boss and a kind of a nice situation where you can go take care of these things.
Yep.
And you've put yourself in that situation where you have the freedom to take care of problems and without too much stress at the home front.
I manifested a great position for myself.
Yeah. Well, last week, since you weren't here, we had a surprise. We had Angie, long lost Angie. She hadn't been on the show for a year. So
I have never done a show with Angie.
Never?
No.
You know, she's so fun.
Yeah, she is.
She's very eloquent. Her command of the English language is superior to anybody else on the show. Sorry.
She is brilliant.
But yeah, and her mind is just, it just seems like it's a step ahead.
One of the most well-spoken people I've ever met, to be honest.
Yeah, when I met her on Seeking many years ago, I don't even know if we messed around the first night. Maybe we did a little bit, but I was more intrigued by her knowledge and just the way she came across. Like, I'm a sapiosexual, and that was really a turn on to me to be able to have a highly intelligent conversation with somebody that I met on Seeking. Not to say that I haven't met plenty of smart people and intelligent people, but she just seemed like she was a little cut above.
Have you ever met her daughters?
You know, I think she showed me pictures of them.
Equally well-spoken.
Really?
And brilliant, yes.
Yeah. So the funny thing was, when she met Vivian, they had this common bond of that they were in the same religious cult.
Yes.
Some small differences, but pretty much the same, and they were from the same part of the country. So those two all of a sudden have bonded like nobody's business. I mean, they're two peas in a pod now. And Angie, having, met Kevin and become friends with Kevin long before, seeing Vivian now with Kevin exclusively, it's a very interesting thing, and she couldn't be happier for the two of them. I mean, it was a fun episode. If you haven't caught last week's episode, go listen to that one, because it's a little different.
I have not edited that one yet. So you're saying that Vivian and Angie are besties?
They are. They're new BFFs.
How cute. Have they had a threesome with Kev?
Not yet.
Is that in the works?
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either, because the two of them, both of those girls, are open to that scenario.
Well, here's the funny thing, is you missed the story, but Sean, remember Sean?
Yes.
Kevin's friend.
How could anyone forget good old Sean?
Yeah, so Sean liked Vivian. He was kind of hitting on her a little bit.
Oh.
And he gave her a pasta machine. And she's like, okay. Well, excuse
Beep.
Well, Angie decided to trade for the pasta machine and gave Vivian a yoga swing, quote unquote, which there's been very little to no yoga done in this swing that her and Kevin have. I've heard they've worn that swing out pretty good.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. So that was a very fun episode. You guys need to definitely listen to last week's episode if you haven't. And then the episode that came out 2 weeks ago with Rachel Yucatel. I haven't really got your thoughts or your feedback because you had to leave pretty quickly for family matters. What'd you think of that whole thing?
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
2 beautiful, well-spoken, intelligent, successful women.
Mm-hmm.
I was very impressed with the 2 of them.
Yeah. And they're really close to your age, not far from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
They talked about the possibility of applying to come to the
to
concert.
our party. I know that would be fun, wouldn't it?
They would be fun.
Well, I'm curious because we have quite a sugar daddy listenership along, with plenty of other people, but we have a lot of wealthy, successful business men who listen to this podcast. And so I'm expecting a few reach outs.
Yeah. That one will air next week, right?
Yeah, well, that one already aired.
Oh.
It already aired 2 weeks ago.
Oh, the one with Rachel and...
Yeah.
Oh.
This one comes out 2 weeks after.
You got to bear in mind, you're working with a blonde girl.
Okay.
I know my nickname is the Busty Brunette, but I am blonde at the roots.
Yes, you are.
Goodness.
Well, I have a couple letters here that I wanted to get to before we move on with the show. We've had quite a bit of feedback from contacts through our Instagram page. And I tell you guys all the time, if you want to get a hold of Lilly or myself very quickly, go to our Instagram at Secrets of a Sugar Daddy and you can message us there. Oh, you know what? I guess before I get started too, I need to, do a few things. First of all, we got to thank Pod Populi.
Yes, we do.
For this beautiful studio that we're recording in, and thank them for helping connect us with other podcasters and get on other shows. Matter of fact, we just had an episode come out in mid-July of our podcast with the Action Junkeez, that's spelled Junkeez, in Las Vegas. So Charlie Phoenix and Alejandra and myself, we drove to Las Vegas, and we were on a podcast, on the Action Junkeez podcast for about an hour and a half.
Was that the trip where you borrowed my car?
Yes. Thank you very much.
I was sort of kind of involved.
Yes, you were involved. But anyway, that one happened back in March, like 3 or 4 months ago, and they just now came out with that, and there's video on that one. So if you kind of want to see a little bit of the secrets of a sugar daddy crew, we have some sneak peeks on our Instagram. But here's the crazy thing. So they're putting together little snippets for reels.
Okay.
And, they last, 90 seconds or so?
Okay.
So they cut these little sound bites and put them on a reel. And some of them kind of make us look like controlling men, like we're controlling these sugar babies.
Oh.
And the comments that are starting to appear underneath, it's really funny. And like, Rachel's, her podcast, Misunderstood. Like, you can't just read what's in the news and then that's who she is. There's so much more to the story, right?
Right.
Well, it's the same thing for us. I'm seeing these little clips and I'm seeing these comments and I'm like, whoa. That's not even the context of what we were talking about. Because there was this part where I was talking about Alejandra and I said, well, we do have an open relationship and she wasn't ready to become exclusive. And so I have allowed her to go date whoever she wants. And what I found was it's actually driving her closer to me. And people are going on the comments going, quote unquote, you allowed her, like you control her. Well, if we were exclusive, let's say, Lily, you're exclusive with someone. You aren't going to allow him to go out on other dates and see other people. That's not allowed.
No.
Right?
Well, no, not.
And it's not like I own Alejandra. It's not like I'm saying, oh, you're allowed to. I'm saying I'm giving you the freedom.
Yeah, by definition, exclusive means you're not seeing anyone else.
Yeah. So
but each other.
Here's the freedom. Go do what you want. Sow your wild oats or get it out of your system, whatever you think it is.
Yes.
So it's not like I control her and I'm allowing her the way some people took that to meaning, I guess. Well, anyway, I had to pipe back on a few of the comments and I couldn't let it rest without a word from me saying,
defend yourself, sir.
well, and people, and then people go, oh, that's disgusting. What's disgusting? I am very happy with the situation. She's very happy with the situation. Her parents like me. I like them. Who cares what other people think or say?
If anybody has the upper hand of control in that dynamic, I'm going to say it's the spicy Latina.
I would agree with you.
Because she doesn't hold back. She tells you exactly what she's thinking and what she wants. And usually she gets her way.
Oh, yeah. So I wouldn't judge an entire podcast or an entire situation on a few 90-second clips that are made for attention grabbers.
I guess I'm going to have to go listen to
that.
Yeah,
you'll have to see it on it's on Instagram. So that happened this week. I've been seeing all those come, and we've been getting a lot of ratings bumps from it. I mean, I guess any press is good press, right? Is what they say?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I guess it is.
Yeah. I think one of them called me like a dickhead or something like that. Yeah. It was a woman. It's a name of a woman. Now, you can hide on Instagram. It's just like Twitter, but you can fire off whatever, be a keyboard warrior. You can call anybody what they want. So I didn't take it offensively, but I did answer. I'm like, well, I think if you came and listened to the podcast, you might have a different idea of what's really going on here.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's been fun this week.
You're probably one of the least controlling people I've ever met.
I know, exactly. The way the clip came off, it just came off different.
Just the way they snipped it.
It kind of put me in a bad light. But whatever. I know the truth. You know the truth. Our audience knows the truth.
That's right.
Alejandra knows the truth.
Most importantly.
That's most important. And any other sugar babies that I go out with.
Yes.
Now, I did make myself look bad because I said I literally dated hundreds and hundreds of sugar babies. Let me clarify that. I didn't fuck all those sugar babies. I mean, I'm not having sex with hundreds and hundreds of girls. I've gone out with many girls and done many first meet and greets, many dates. That's all it was.
Right.
Hi, nice to meet you. Let's have a drink. Let's have some food, whatever. Let's go somewhere to a bar. And, that counts to me as going out.
Yeah. In my experience, probably 9 out of 10 meet and greets go nowhere.
Right.
It was just a once upon a time encounter that never transpires into anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
And I literally have. I've met hundreds and hundreds of girls from the site. At one point, I was going out 4 to 5 times a week. It doesn't take very long to add up to hundreds.
Yeah.
Over, 7, 8 years, whatever. So I kind of felt like the way they put that clip together, it made me look bad. Like I was some big player. But I'm not. I just enjoy meeting people, and you can tell pretty quickly whether you're going to have chemistry or connection with somebody.
Guess where I'm going to dinner tonight?
Where are you going?
Capital Grill.
Oh, are you? Oh,
yeah.
You know what? Alejandra's never eaten there, and she wants to.
You said you were busy.
I know. I'm so busy. I've got to put together some extra sugars because the audience demands that stuff. They just want more and more and more. No, this extra sugar I'm putting together is going to be really good. It's going to be a little different than my others.
What's it about?
Well, it's already aired.
Oh.
Since we are on a little bit of a delay, but it was the one that I put out with, it's the one that I put out with our after talk. After we interviewed Rachel and Kelly, we left the microphone on. We never pushed stop. So we got about 7-8 minutes of really good just after show talk that hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to. It's a little different, kind of a behind the scenes thing.
I'm real curious how Miss Kelly's sugar dating is going.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm going to have to text her.
Yeah. I feel like we have a little bit of an interest in this now.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we better be invited to the wedding.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the thought of not everybody that you meet, there's instant chemistry. But what I find is interesting with you is you found people that they do grow on you and they become a little bit more than what you thought they were going to be.
Absolutely. My meet and greet with Trucker, he reminded me the other day, it was so quick. I was just taking a really quick lunch. We met for tacos, and he was like, "You were there like 15, 20
I
minutes."
know. He was recounting the story the other day.
And
I was
then-
laughing my ass off.
And then you just jetted out of there, and I didn't think I'd ever hear from you again.
Yeah.
And I go, well, it wasn't that. I really just had a small window to meet you. And then we just kept texting back and forth. And the more I talked to him, the more I texted him, the more I was like, yeah, I actually want to go on a real bona fide date with you. Now, was I still a little hesitant and leery? Yes, because I worked it out to where I took along some friends on our first date. Do you remember that?
You took me.
I took you
And Alejandra.
Alejandra.
Yeah, we went to the Suns game.
Yeah. And we didn't sit next to each other, but we did all have dinner together beforehand.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I wanted to kind of get some feedback from the two of you about
Well, it was
what
funny
you thought
because
about him.
I didn't know what to think of him either. He looked like a nice guy. He looked a little, he wasn't 100% comfortable with the situation,
Yes.
but he was more than generous. He grabbed the check, took care of the whole thing. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't fight him for it though, but
No,
not
you
too long.
didn't.
I did appreciate that because I'm usually the one always grabbing the check, treating everybody. So it was kind of nice. It was a
Yeah.
nice feeling having that reciprocated. But honestly, I didn't think you guys were going to go anywhere.
No.
And I don't think you did either.
Well, I mean, the poor guy. So it's our first date. I drag along two people out of my posse. He has never sugar dated before.
Mm-hmm.
This was just at the beginning stages of him even knowing. In fact, he didn't even know what seeking was. He was on secret benefits.
Uh-huh.
He was not on seeking. I'm the one who told him about seeking, and then he got on there. So he, recently out of a relationship, had just broken up with his girlfriend of like 5 years, and they were still living together, but they weren't together.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that the relationship was irreparable. But still, I mean, he was at a weird place, and here I am dragging along two of my friends on our
And his thought,
first date.
here I am, closer to his age, and then I've got this young, beautiful Latina with me.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking, what in the
Yeah.
world?
But gosh, we've been on so many double dates since then,
it's
and
been a
we
lot of
always
fun.
have so much fun.
Yeah.
In fact, I invited you along tonight, but the two of you couldn't make it.
No, I've got a lot of work to do, trying to get caught up.
Yeah.
So, well, good. I'm glad that's going well.
Yeah, that's going wonderfully.
It's one of those things that as we've gone out with him and you,
Mhm.
we've double dated. Alejandra's really growing to like him a lot. I mean, she liked Podcast Fanboy too. Like, she really liked him a lot. I think Trucker, it was a little bit slower of a process,
Mhm.
but it's interesting how we've really become fond of him
Yeah.
and look forward to double dating. It's a lot of fun.
Well, he's such a likable guy. He's really chill. He's very down to earth. That's one of the things I appreciate most about him is he's very easygoing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not egomaniacal like so many of
No,
these
not at all.
sugar daddies that I've dated. And I mean, he's extremely successful, extremely intelligent, and
He looks like one of those guys that started out as a mechanic underneath a truck and just built a multi-million-dollar business. That's what he looks
I
like.
mean, that's not completely inaccurate.
Right. It's
He-
pretty close, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And there's really something to appreciate about that. Hard work.
I agree.
Yeah.
And we're having a great summer. Like, we're spending lots of time together, and
Mm-hmm.
we're just having a lot of fun. We're planning a trip to the White Mountains in a couple of weeks. And then at Christmas time, we're going for 2 weeks to, you're going to have to pronounce it for me. We're going on to that Sandals Resort.
Oh, Curacao?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
We're going there.
Well, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I have a couple of fun trips to look forward to. And I've traveled with him once, and granted, it was only for a few days, but we traveled well together. So things are steadily progressing.
Yeah, I
there.
could see him traveling well because he's such an easy, laid-back guy. It doesn't look like too much will get on his nerves. I don't know.
No, he's pretty chill.
Yeah.
He really is.
Well, this week I'm kind of excited because I'm going to test something out.
And what is that?
Well, you know I'm banned from seeking.
You are 86.
And the reason is because of this podcast. It's nothing I did wrong. Well, they said I promoted the podcast because I talked to somebody about it once. I wasn't really promoting it, and certainly we don't make money off of it. So it's not like I'm not charging anybody to be on the podcast. We just like to hear good stories. So I was talking to somebody about it and they turned me in and they banned me. But I think I found a workaround.
Do tell.
Well, I got to test it. I got to test it this week, see how it goes. If I get kicked off immediately, I'm going to have to circle the wagons and try again. But
well, maybe you shouldn't say what it is because
they don't know which profile's mine.
Oh, that's true.
I don't have any facial pictures on there.
There you go.
I've got some body pictures.
Just a bunch of dick pics.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that Kelly, Rachel's producer, she started getting those as soon as she gets on Seeking? It's ridiculous. I don't know why guys do that.
They are just thinking that's going to really turn a girl's head, and all it does is turn a girl's stomach.
Yeah. So keep tuned. I will let you know how the experiment goes. I'm not really looking for anybody on the site, but I do like to keep my account active because I do get lots of interesting messages. I think as of today, I keep up in the count. As of this morning, it was 205 messages. And I'm just really curious what they say and see if there's anybody that'll be good for the show. You know how many messages I have on Bumble?
0.
I think I have 1 or 2. Yeah, on Hinge, I think I have 2. And one of them's 100% a scammer. I'm just fucking with her.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, she's an absolute scammer.
Why don't you send her photo to Podcast Fanboy?
Oh, yeah, I could,
So he could...
I forget about that.
He loves to do that.
All right, what I need to do is actually get that software from him instead of keep sending all this over to him because I am curious on some of these.
Did he show you what it was?
No, he just told me about it. And I've sent a few photos over to him, and he's identified them. And matter of fact, we found one girl, and she's real. I've met her.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to get her name. I know her first name, I think, but I was really curious on what her story was because she's tried to do some damage behind the scenes, which is really stupid.
Damage behind the scenes?
Yeah, like...
To you?
Yeah, to me and the podcast. She didn't like it.
Oh.
So I was just curious, and she moved anyway to another city. But here's the crazy thing is she's on Reddit, and she probably, you know what, even though she hates this podcast, she probably listens. But she's on Reddit, and she uses this certain name. And if you click on the name, it shows all the comments she's made throughout all of her Reddit posts. Holy cow, did I find out some information about her.
Really?
She grew up in a Mormon family.
Okay.
She has a certain sexually transmitted disease that she cannot get rid of.
She talked about that online?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And she talked about sugar daddies that she had dated. She talked about trips that she had made that were disasters. And she talked about me, saying that all I did was meet her once.
And what did she say about you?
Oh, she just said that the podcast was disgusting and that I was disgusting. And our meeting didn't go that way. Like all it was I met her at a bar and we talked and I could not get her to open up. Like she literally just sat back with her arms folded with a "why are you even here" type of an attitude. And I'm just like, wow, this is what the hell? I mean, I'm wasting my time. But I was cordial. You know me. I'd never be like overly rude or mean to anybody. So I said, okay, well, it was nice meeting you. And I walked her to her car and that was it. And then I sent her a text. I go, hey, it was really nice meeting you. I don't know what happened. I couldn't get past that big block wall you put up, but I wish you the best. And that was it. Right. And she was cordial with that. Right. And then we had recorded a really funny episode on the podcast. And I thought she would enjoy it according to some of the conversation we had. So I sent it to her and then she replied like, "You're disgusting," the whatever.
Oh.
And I'm like, really? I'm basically talking about the same site that you and I are both on.
She was
and some of the shenanigans.
Triggered.
Yeah. So she hates the new essay. She only wants like a monthly allowance. She hates PPM. Oh, there was so much stuff on her. So anyway, I sent those pictures over to and sure enough, she showed up as a model.
You sent them to Podcast Fanboy?
Yeah. So I sent those pictures over to Podcast Fanboy and he ran them and he goes, wow, here's some modeling she did. And sure enough, she's in a catalog. And then she used a couple of those pictures on her profile. But I was just trying to trying to figure out what's. I don't. It's funny. I think Kevin brought it up or something. He goes, there was a singer, and he goes, oh, it was Seinfeld, I think. Seinfeld said, I look out and there's 10,000 people laughing, but the one guy in the front's bothering me because he's not laughing, and now I'm all bothered. Like, why is he not laughing?
Yeah.
Is this not funny?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it did to me. I'm like, wait a minute, why does she hate us so bad? What did I do? So it kind of bothered me a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, we got to stop caring so much what people think about us.
Oh, I know.
It's hard.
I'm still going to tell it just like it is.
Yeah.
We're not going to sugarcoat anything. I mean, this is sugar dating. This is what it's about. This is what our experiences are. This is what everybody else is experiencing. Like it or not, this is it.
Yep.
And there are variations, and there's going to be all kinds of dynamics that people encounter. Everybody has unique personalities, and we all mesh differently.
Well, speaking of Mormons,
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to
Ryan? Yeah.
Yes, I reached out to Ryan,
Who-
Vivian's ex.
Right, who we talked
sugar
about a little
daddy.
bit last week.
And just to check up and see how his sugar dating was going. And he actually closed his account, deactivated it, and he's just really focusing on his family and his business right now.
Which is probably best in his situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his divorce hasn't even finalized yet, so he just felt like seeking might be a Band-Aid.
Well, he's
To
in
get
his
him
mid-30s,
through.
and
Yeah.
he's not used to bribing girls to go out with him, for lack of a better analogy.
Yeah. No, he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
He's very generous. He'll pay for everything, but he's
Mhm.
not going to do PPM or allowance with someone.
Yeah.
So
Hey, sugar dating's not for everyone.
it's not for everyone. In fact, my trucker has discovered it's not for him.
Yeah.
He didn't like it. And actually, he told me yesterday at dinner, every single girl that I sugar dated for any amount of times, I told them I was not looking to live this lifestyle. I was looking for a person that I could do a traditional relationship with, that it was just mutually, we just both wanted to be together, whether there was financial benefit or not.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't like the lifestyle. He absolutely won't stay in it.
But here you are in his life because of it.
That's true. That is true. Had he not dabbled, he would have never found me.
No.
And I'm telling you, we just really click. We get along great.
Yeah.
So I do see potential there, like strong potential.
Well, good. Good
So
for you.
We're kind of, I mean, my only other sugar daddy's out of town, living his best life in the mountains. So we're really just only seeing each other right now. He cut all his other sugar babies loose.
So what's the update with the trip to Greece?
He canceled it.
He did?
Yeah.
Completely? Like she's not going with her friend?
You know what? He is a really good guy because...
It's a weird situation.
Yeah, it is a weird situation. And it was a hard decision for him to make because he really was actually looking forward to the trip. But the more time we spend together, the closer we get. He's like, I really don't want or need to date anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically he had paid for his flight and her flight, and she had invited her friend. People just invite their friends along. Poor trucker.
Yeah.
But she had invited her friend along. So the two of them are still going, and he had paid for half of a very nice Airbnb for the three of them to stay in. And he told her, I'll leave my half in if you two want to swing the other half, because she has multiple sugar daddies that would probably chip in for her vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess it was kind of distant from the center of where they wanted to be in Greece. And so she declined to keep the Airbnb. So, but I mean, he did pay for her flight, and he's being very chivalrous about making sure that she was okay with it. And I'm sure she and her friend will just go and have a wonderful experience.
I hope they do. Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the update on the Greece trip. I was kind of on pins and needles because I didn't know if he was going to cancel it or not. Yeah. And
it would have swung your feelings pretty hard if he didn't.
It probably would have, because we've gotten so close that I do think I would have hated the thought of him being
Yeah.
off on this romantic, wonderful vacation with another really hot chick.
Yeah.
Because according to him, she's super hot
Yeah.
and super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she's a really great lady.
Okay.
So.
And you still haven't seen a picture of her, huh?
No.
He just won't do it. Huh?
No. I mean, why would he show me a picture of her? Yeah, I would probably just get jealous.
Yeah.
I'd probably say, I want to be her when I grow up.
There you go. Well, speaking of very pretty and attractive women, we're getting a lot of great submissions to the concert coming up in 3.5 months or so. And let me just tell you, don't wait, because the people who enter early get priority voting.
Man, I've
Okay.
seen some of them and watched their videos.
Yeah,
There are some really high caliber chicks
there really is.
that
Yeah.
are wanting to come partake in this
Yeah.
experience.
So it's going to be fun trying to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Still plenty of
Beautiful.
spots available, so get your entry in. I know Alejandra is like, I'm going to be all over you like a blanket come that concert.
Oh, gosh.
So it's going to be kind of fun. But so anyway, don't delay. Get your entry in. Go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, and there's a button that says come party with us.
I got some mixed feelings about that concert.
And well, we'll see. We'll see here in a couple months.
Got some mixed feelings.
Angie's going to be there. We talked to her last week. I hadn't actually officially invited her yet, and she is so excited to come. You guys definitely want to meet her. So
Well, both of my guys are planning to come, and I just feel like that's going to put me in a really awkward
we'll see.
state of mind.
Things change weekly with you.
That's true.
You know.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
true.
I know. So Amy, I talked to her today finally. I haven't talked to her in a couple weeks.
Please
My
tell me.
original co-host.
How is
You know,
Miss Amy?
she's not really dating right now, but she's met some people from school, and she's doing a lot of sports stuff like pickleball, sand volleyball, things like that, and really becoming active and traveling with like this little small group
fun.
and just having a good time, kind of refining herself. She's in and out of dating. I mean, some of these guys she meets, she's not a good picker sometimes.
No, she isn't.
And so she kind of has to, take a deep breath, reset herself, and then figure out really what she wants. But she went up to Seattle area and hung out with her sister and some family members, some friends up there. So anyway, it was fun reconnecting with her. I know that she had agreed to come to the party. And then she calls me. She's like, I don't know if I feel comfortable, because she has social phobia. She
does.
But I think in the end, we'll convince her to go.
I still remember the first time I met her.
Yeah.
And I was like, that cannot be the girl I've been listening to on the podcast.
I know. It's so funny. Like behind the microphone, she's very comfortable without anybody around. And she has a lot to say and has some good opinions and good things to say. But then when you get her in a public environment, it just feels like she's like the world is squeezing in on her, and she gets really uncomfortable.
She kind of withdraws.
Yeah, some people just have that.
No, yeah, there's a lot of people that have that. My son-in-law has that.
Just social anxiety, I guess that's what you call it.
That's exactly what
Something
it
like
is.
that. Yeah. Well, I have a couple letters I wanted to get to, and I just got this one this morning. It's kind of interesting. We're not going to use her name. We'll just call her AB. Oh, and she messaged me through Instagram, guys, so that's a good way to get a hold of us. She says, I am 22 years old, and I have a sugar daddy that is 57 years old. He's married, and he has 2 older kids. We have been together for a year. I feel like my sugar daddy is obsessed with me. He tells me he loves me at least 50 times a day. That's a lot.
How do you even find the time to say I love you that many times in a day?
Like when you overuse a word, it becomes less and less meaningful.
I
right?
agree.
So, I mean, I loved my parents. I love my mom, but I'm not going to tell her that 50 times a day, because like by the 50th time, yeah, you told me. All right, I get it. You love me. Right? It just has a lot less meaning. So that's a big red flag. How come he doesn't think that telling her that 2 or 3 times a day is sufficient, right?
I know.
He calls me while I'm at work at least 20 times.
See, that's not cool.
See, this guy he is obsessed.
That's
almost like stalkerish.
It does sound like an obsession.
A lot of red flags here.
I'm going to say he's probably insecure about being able to maintain the attention of someone that much younger than him.
She says, I don't know. I feel like he is on my face a lot and I can't breathe. We don't stay together, as I've mentioned, but he goes away for his other work for 3 days, and that's when he wants the most attention. I have started seeing someone my age that he doesn't know of, and I'm feeling very sorry for him. I don't want to hurt him because he's been so good to me. He has even been talking about getting me a car in 3 months' time. I feel really guilty for what I'm doing, but I feel like I lost feelings for him. When we talk on the phone, he can see that I've lost interest. I try keeping the calls short, and I recently told him that we have repetitive something. Anyway, that's where it ended. But I get the message, though.
Yeah. She's feeling smothered.
Yeah.
She feels like she's suffocating.
Mm-hmm.
And she should probably tell him that. That's my advice to her is tell him, I need you to dial it back because you are absolutely smothering me. And it's hard to build any kind of anticipation or longing or desire for somebody that's always in your face.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got to let somebody miss you. You've got to let them do their own things. They can't snap back if you never let them pull away.
That was my biggest problem with Scorpio. Well, one of many big problems with Scorpio. But my biggest problem with him was he was just insistent that I quit my job and I be with him 24/7.
He was trying to make you quit your job with me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He didn't care what job it was. He didn't want me working because he wanted me around all the time.
But you knew you needed some space and some time away.
Absolutely. I don't know how people work together.
Couples?
Yeah. Like, for example, I know a couple that bought a restaurant together and it literally ruined their marriage because they had both come from separate work environments where they were very successful and they did very well. But when they quit those jobs to buy that restaurant and focus on it, it was too much togetherness. It led to bickering. It led to disagreements, arguing, and it ultimately destroyed their marriage.
Yeah. You know, I love my mom to death, and God rest her soul. She's no longer with us. Well, she is in spirit. But we ran a photography business together. Back in the late 80s and mid 90s, I was a professional photographer, and she was like a master photographer and did really well. Her and I worked together so much, we would just bicker and fight like siblings almost.
Yeah.
And I caught myself doing that.
Now, were you still living at home at the time?
Yeah, I was still living at home.
Okay. Yeah, that's too much togetherness.
Yeah, I was just like, why are we having all this animosity and not able to get along? I love my mom, and we've always been able to get along, but we were just together so much. And then I was kind of getting in that temperamental age in my early 20s where maybe I'm trying to fight for my freedom.
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't know. But I just distinctly remember in my head going, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, why am I feeling this way? What is going on? And at that time, I didn't have the emotional maturity to understand it or the resources to even figure out why.
Yeah.
I mean, back in 1990, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have computers, really. Barely had computers. They were coming along.
I will say this. When I find a person that I really enjoy spending time with, I do want to spend copious amounts of time with them. But I don't want to be together 24/7.
Yeah.
I just don't. As much of a time digger, to use Kevin's word, as much of a time digger as I am, I still don't need 24/7 attention.
Yeah. Well, I put this out to the group, some of the people on our podcast, and Vivian replied, tell her just to be honest and communicate some of that to him in a direct and kind manner. That's all she can do. And then Kevin just sent a meme of a guy running out of a building as fast as he could.
Run as fast as you can.
Run away as fast as you can. That's pretty typical Kevin. So, yeah, that's a tough situation. I think at this point, just be upfront with them, communicate with them, be honest with them, tell them your situation, tell them how you're feeling, and go from there. But yeah, a lot of red flags.
I think so too. Well, and the fact that there's really no long-term potential with a 22-year-old and a 57-year-old married man. So it's probably good that she's not in love with him.
Yeah.
Probably very good for her.
Well, he's married.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I
like,
just said. Like there's
yeah, it's just
like that could never turn into anything else.
right. Okay, on to another letter I got yesterday, I think it was. Hi, I have some questions for you. My name is Jess, and I live in the East Coast. Have you ever been? I have so many questions for you and your co-host. I found you guys a couple weeks ago and started binge listening. I'm on episode 41. Well, I can tell you right now, you are in for a lot of great episodes ahead of you. If you're up to 41, the show almost just completely changes into a reality show.
I'm trying to think where I came in, and I think it was somewhere around episode 44 or 47, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so we introduced you and Kimmy.
You had introduced her a couple episodes before me.
Yeah, so if you're on episode 41, you are about to really get into some good stuff. And it's going to get better too.
Oh, buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle up.
It gets a little wild.
Yeah, because in the beginning, when we started this podcast, it was Amy and I, and the reason we started it was to talk about some fun stories and give tips and tricks on how to navigate the sugar dating life and how to structure a profile and how to respond to messages and payment and all that good stuff. But man, as the co-hosts start coming on more often, we start getting into their lives and people get vested into what's going on with Lilly and her 2 sugar daddies. What's going on with Kimmy and her billionaire guys and blah, 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 blah. It's so much fun tracking the whole sugar dating life. It's been a lot of fun. Anyway, talking about payments and things like that, this is her question. She says, my biggest question is what apps or methods is the safest route for a sugar baby to receive payment? A bank account or something else? I want to be as safe and informed before making an account. I'm trying to catch up to your most current episode. I found you at episode 99. Love listening to you guys. All right. Well, Jess, we really appreciate you writing in and listening. And like I said, you've got a lot of fun episodes ahead of you to listen to. How do you prefer payment?
I like Venmo.
Now, is Venmo tied to your real name?
Let me think.
So if I Venmo you, and I could probably look it up right now, your real name pops up.
It probably does.
Yeah. If you don't mind that, Venmo is a great
The ways
route
I've
to go.
received gifts has been through Venmo or directly to my bank account if it's somebody long-term and trusted.
Do they just Zelle you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can Zelle to a
Yeah.
phone number or an email address, and you can set up a secondary phone number. I have a Google Voice number. You could Zelle to my Google Voice number. You're still not going to know who I am.
Yeah. I do
So
think
that's some protection.
One of mine, I think it is my Venmo or my Cash App, or maybe both of those are tied to my Google Voice, and also my real name's not on there. I use a code name.
Mm-hmm.
But good old cash is king.
Well, cash is king, yeah.
Cash is king.
But with all the electronic methods
Yeah.
that today offers, it's
Yeah.
really nice to be able to just hit a few buttons and bam, it's in their account.
Yeah, that is nice.
Now, me personally, I use Zelle for Alejandra. I think I just either send it to her phone number or an email address that she gave me. I don't know. It's automatically set up in my account now.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I can talk into my phone and say, send Alejandra blank amount, and it'll just do it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, a lot of people like to use Cash App.
Yeah.
And Cash App, you can hide your identity very easily on that. They don't require you to have your name. When I first started a few years ago, and I wanted to know more about that person, and I wanted to do some research if I hadn't done it already, even if I had cash in my pocket, I would ask them first, hey, can I Venmo you? And a lot of them say, yeah, sure. They'd give me their Venmo, and bam, there's their name.
Yeah.
So that was my sneaky way of getting someone's name.
Getting their real name.
Yeah. Yeah. So that works pretty good. But if you want to avoid that, then I would suggest maybe doing Cash App. Now, a lot of those, you can transfer your Venmo balance directly to your account. It takes a couple days. If you want to do it instantly, they do charge a fee. So you do lose a little bit, a small amount, I think up to $25 if you want to do
I always
it.
just wait.
You just wait.
Yeah.
I like having money in my Venmo account instead of my bank account because I use it for other things. And sometimes it's just easy, like, oh, I've got a few thousand in my Venmo account. I'll just pay you out of here or whatever. But
I always transfer to my bank
yeah.
and then just wait for the couple of days until it hits.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can do PayPal too.
Yeah, you could. Sure could.
And then PayPal is the same way. You have the option of transferring it to your bank account 1 to 3 days. Every time I do that, though, it's like next day it's in there. I've done the instant transfer on PayPal into my bank account, and just like Venmo, they deduct a little fee.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time when I say transfer my account and it says 1 to 3 days, and I'll press that, usually it's in there the next day. All right. One last one before we finish up. This one's from a longtime listener, somebody that is a big, big fan of the show. She messaged me a lot, but here's one that she sent. Okay, she says, okay, this is for Lilly. I really kind of love you, hate you right now.
Oh, goodness.
2 great sugar daddies taking you away. I can't even find one normal enough to take me to dinner. You completely deserve it. You seem like a truly wonderful person, and they are damn lucky to get to date you. But tell me, how on earth are you doing it?
Oh, girlfriend, these things did not happen overnight. And honestly, vetting, communicating, trying to get to know a person, and just honestly, I think my biggest secret is just being genuine and real and letting them know who I am, how I feel, what my goals are. And I don't play games. I just don't. I'd rather be honest. So, gosh, I've had so many bad ones.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long she's been doing it, but I think I've been on there almost a couple of years now. And I've had so many bad ones, but I've had my share of success stories, and I don't know. I think I finally have manifested good guys.
Well, she also goes on. She says, here's a business idea. Throws me business ideas all the time. Here's her latest one. Lilly could teach a how to be a successful sugar baby course. She could definitely be the next Dash. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
I have no idea.
Especially if we marketed it for older sugar babies. She says, I'm 48. I'm telling you, if we put all of these brilliant eyes together, we could all be multimillionaires.
We'll make an OMG yes for sugar babies.
Right? Yeah.
Well, basically, it would just be exactly what you get on here. Stories of my trials and tribulations and my sometimes success stories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can make it into an actual course. Do you remember the cuddler?
Yes, I remember the cuddler.
You know how you say they always come back?
Yeah.
I have not heard from the cuddler since last summer. And all of a sudden, I just get a message if I would like to get together and cuddle or go on a date sometime. And honestly, I feel bad. I didn't even answer him, and I should have. But I don't want to cuddle anymore. I'm kind of...
The cuddler. Did you see?
I'm kind of smitten with what I have going on, and I don't need more cuddling. I'm getting plenty of cuddling.
You only saw him once, didn't you? Or did a couple
Twice.
times? You did?
I cuddled him twice.
That's funny.
Yeah. Nice guy. Really nice guy. Just, he liked cuddling. And he had been paying people $100 an hour just to cuddle.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had one more on Instagram. We'll have to bring this one up on another episode because I told her I would ask the girls, and
you can't find it?
I can't. I get so many messages.
What was the gist, do you think?
Oh, here it is. Ready?
I am ready.
Marcus. So I met this wonderful sugar daddy. We have hung out twice. It's been going super well. We have a really natural connection. I really enjoy spending time with him, but he does not like PPM. He thinks it feels gross, and I totally respect that. He told me I can basically ask whenever I need anything. How do I navigate that? Because it makes me really uncomfortable to randomly message him for money, especially because I truly do enjoy his company, and I'd like to make the arrangement work. Any tips? Oh, and here's our update. So far, it's been okay. He did send me some money, and he's obviously taking me out and such, but I definitely think we need to set up some financial boundaries, considering I let him stay the night and he has only given me $250.
Yeah. She needs to communicate what her financial needs and financial goals are and why she's in the lifestyle. Because if they met on a sugar site, it's kind of weird that he is opposed to sugaring her.
What's tough here is she's let it go too long. And now you kind of have to backtrack into this information. You didn't get to it up front, which is really tough sometimes because you don't know where these things are going. And she really likes him now. So now you're like, I don't want him to think I'm only here for his money. But that is the reason I'm on the site. And that's the reason I'm looking for an older, successful guy, is to help me out a bit. And he's not doing that.
Yeah.
She just needs to have the conversation. It's tough. At the risk of losing him, but I don't think it will lose him.
I mean, it could.
I don't think it will. If he really likes her, it's hard to find somebody that you really like.
I don't know. I've talked to many a sugar daddy who have told me that if a girl asks after, well, I guess they've never established anything though. But if a girl asks for more, he just cuts her loose right then and there if she tries to negotiate.
Right, if they've already agreed to amount and then she tries to
this
negotiate
is a
again.
little bit of a different scenario, I guess. But she's going to have to level with him though, because if she truly does need the financial assistance and if she truly does have definitive financial goals, then she's got to communicate that, because she can't spend all of her time with someone who's not helping her achieve her goal. No matter how much she likes him, if that's truly what she needs. I mean, if she doesn't care and she just wants a traditional relationship, that's different.
No, but obviously this is important to her too.
Yeah, it sounds like it. If she
The
reached out to
financial part.
us, it sounds like she does need to communicate that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we wish you good luck on that. Let us know how that goes. And Lily, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Hey, if you want to share your questions, comments, and stories, you can certainly go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com or message us on Instagram. We love getting those. And you know what? That's the end of the hour.
Get those applications in.
Get those
for
applications
the big
in.
concert.
All right. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.